Okay, so today's lesson is 11-2, or multiplying radical expressions. The chapter is entitled Multiplying and Dividing Rational Expressions, but today we're just going to be focusing on multiplying. So I've got the first problem for us, and I'm going to just kind of write them as we go, is we're going to multiply. So number 1, it's 3 over x times 4x squared. Okay, so now we are going to just multiply fractions, and just like you did in elementary school, you're just going to multiply straight across. So 4 times 3 is 12. And when you multiply bases, what do you do with the exponents? We add them. So we have x to the third. And that's the first answer for the first example. Number 2, we're going to multiply. And the problem is x over x plus 4 times x minus 3 over x minus 2. Okay, the very first thing that I'm going to do to remind myself that these are quantities is to go through and put parentheses around each of the terms that are quantities, that have to stay together, that I cannot cancel out separately. If I cancel them, I have to cancel them completely. And I look and I see, is there any of these that can be canceled? And there's not. So now I am just going to go ahead and multiply straight across. And when you do that, when you have quantities and variables, you're just going to write it like this for now, and see if there's any benefit in us going through and do the FOIL method and multiply. And your book would say there's not, so I'm all done, and this is my answer to number 2. Okay, number 3. Again, we're just multiplying. So 3 is 6 over a squared times negative 2 over a to the third. And I look to see if anything can be canceled, and they can't. So now I'm just going to multiply straight across. So I have a negative 12. And again, when you're multiplying bases, what are you going to do with the exponents? Add them. So there's my answer for number 3. Number 4. I have my problem. It's x minus 5 over x plus 3 times x minus 7 over x. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my parentheses there to remind myself that these are quantities and they can't be separated. Then I look to see, can I cancel any of these quantities out? And I cannot. So then I'm just going to go through and rewrite with my parentheses all over. And normally you put your x that's by itself, or your variable by yourself, first, and then you keep your quantity here. And I look to say, okay, is there any advantage if I were to multiply this out and do the FOIL method? And there's not. So again, this is my answer for number 4. Okay, so that is simple multiplication of rational expressions. Now we're going to go through and we're going to add another dimension to this. Okay, number 5. We are just going to do the same thing. We're going to be multiplying. So now I have 2x plus 1 over 3 times 6x all over 4x squared minus 1. Alright, so this we have to add just a little bit more. Nope, a little bit more to this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put my quantity here. I'm going to look and see if there's anything that I could take out of this quantity. I can't. Look at the 6x, I can't take anything out of there. I've got a 3 at the bottom. Then I look at the bottom of my fraction, 4x squared minus 1. Can I make this a difference of squares? Could I write this as 2 squared, which would be 4, and x squared? Did I just rewrite this term exactly the same except I used an exponent for this one? Could I write this as 1 squared? Did I just rewrite this expression or quantity as a difference of squares? And I did. I'm not going to use that anymore. I'm going to use 2x plus 1 and then 2x minus 1. That's what I just created by going step by step and breaking it down and factoring it. Okay, so this is, I'm going to go ahead and erase the work that I did, and I'm going to replace it with my new factored form. And I know you can't do this on your paper, but hopefully I'm helping you follow me a little bit more what I did. 2x plus 1, and then I have 2x minus 1. Alright, now, do you see anything that can be canceled? Do we have a quantity here that can cancel that quantity? Can we now cancel in this direction? How many times will 3 go into 3? Once. How many times will 3 go into 6? Twice. Okay, at the top of my fraction here, what do I have left? I just have a 2 and an x. At the bottom of my fraction, what do I have left? I just have the 2x minus 1. And that is my answer in simplified form. That I moved up to there. I just rewrote it. Okay, so that was number 5. So now they're getting to be a little bit more complex. So we need to take our time and check and look at our work. Okay, so now let's go down. I'm going to go down to 6 this way. Okay, 6 is, we've got x minus 2 over 8x times, I have negative 8x minus 16 all over x squared minus 4. Okay. Now we're going to go and we're going to look to see if anything can be factored out. And I'm going to go ahead and write it this way to kind of help us keep track of what I'm doing. Okay, anything on this one right here, this quantity here, can anything be taken out? And it can't. So I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite it over here in red, putting my parentheses around it and showing it's a quantity. At the bottom here, 8x, can I take anything out of here? And I can't, so I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite it. Okay, let's go up here. Now we've got negative 8x minus 16. Is there anything within the 8 and the 16 that can be taken out? And we say yes and 8. How about a negative also? I can take a negative out. Put in my parentheses, negative 8 times x is negative 8x. Negative 8 times positive 2 is going to give me a negative 16. So that's what I have at the top over here. Okay, now let's look at the bottom. Do you recognize this as, and I hope you do by now, a difference of squares? Could I rewrite this as x plus 2 and x minus 2. And that's what goes over here, replacing this, x plus 2, x minus 2. Alright, now I did quite a bit of work there to get my final result. And I'm going to go ahead and use black. Is there anything between here and here that can cancel? Oh yes, I see that there's a x minus 2 that can cancel out. Is there anything between the 8 and the 8 that can cancel? Yeah, the 8s can both cancel. We can get 1, and this will make a 1. How about this way? You can also cancel this way, because x plus 2 and x plus 2, that's also a 1. They cancel out. Okay, what do I have left at the top of my fraction? I have a negative and a 1. At the bottom of my fraction, what do I have left? Everything was canceled except for this x. And that's my answer for number 6. Alright, now I think the number was number 7. Here is my problem. It's 3x plus 2 over 2x plus 4 times x squared plus 5x plus 6. Alright, so this is what I've got to work with. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is look at our quantities. Can I take anything out of this top one? And I can't, so I'm going to go ahead and keep my parentheses there. How about the bottom? Can I take anything out of this bottom terms? It looks like they have a 2 and an x plus 2. Okay, so I'm going to go over here and I'm going to rewrite them with the new factored form with my parentheses there, so don't forget that's a quantity. 2x plus 2. Okay, that's my first part of this. It's still multiplication. Now I'm going to go over to the next part that I'm multiplying and making it into a fraction. Now I look at this top one. Is there anything that I can factor out here? Well, I think I'm going to have to use my x, but not my box. So first times the last is 6. Add together to give me 5. So I have a 3 and a 2. Because when I multiply them, I get 6. Add together, get 5. So at the top over here, I have x plus 3. And then I have an x plus 2. And that's going to go in my problem with my new factored form. So I'm just rewriting it so you can kind of keep track of what I'm doing here. All over 1. Okay, now let's look to see, at this point we're ready to cross cancel and get rid of some things. Alright, look at the 3x plus 2. Nothing here, because this has a 3, this doesn't have a 3, so I can't cancel that. No numbers, nothing here, but what about these 2? Can I get rid of those 2? And I can. So at the top, what do I have left? I have 3x plus 2, and then I have another quantity of x plus 3 all over, and at the bottom I just have a 2 times 1, which is just 2. And so that's my answer for number 7. Number 8. Okay, here is my problem. It's 3 over c times, and I put my parentheses, c to the third minus c. That's my problem. Okay, I'm going to go now and look at to see if I can get rid of things or if I can factor things out. So 3 and a c I can't do anything with that. I'm going to make this into a fraction. Okay, now I look. Is there anything that these have in common? And hopefully you see that they have a c, and they have a c squared minus 1. Alright, so far over here I have my 3c times c parentheses c squared, the 2 first, c squared minus 1 all over 1. Okay, so now I can cancel right now if I want to, because I can cancel both these c's. Right, but now I have 3 and I have a c squared minus 1. Sometimes that might be where the book takes it, but I can go one step further. I can keep that 3. Do you see this hopefully as a difference of squares? Can I rewrite this as a c plus 1 and a c minus 1? And that would be my final answer. Okay, we've got 2 more examples I wanted to show you. So number 9, we have 2v over v plus 3 times, and then we have a v squared minus 2v minus 15. Alright, so here we go again. Anything here, can they be factored out? No. This is a quantity. Let's put parentheses around it. Make this a fraction by putting a 1 under it, and then this one let's factor with our x. So we have a negative 15, negative 2, one's negative, one's positive, and I think some of you can do this pretty quickly now. How about this is a 5, and this is a positive 3, because negative 5 times 3 is negative 15, negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2. So at the top we have our 2v on this fraction, and v plus 3 here. We just factored this one to give us v minus 5 and v plus 3. And it's all over 1. Can we cross cancel now these two terms? So my final answer is I'm going to have the 2v parentheses v minus 5. At the bottom I just have the 1 left, so I don't need to write it, and that would be my answer for number 9. Okay, last one is number 10. Okay, my problem is m minus 1 times 4m plus 8 over m squared minus 1. Okay, so again, I'm going to look. I'm going to make this into a fraction. I can't factor anything out here, so I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite it. Looking at this top quantity, do I have anything that I can take out? I see that it's a 4, and I have a m plus 2. So over here I have a 4, and I have a m plus 2. The bottom, hopefully you see it's a difference of squares. Hopefully you see, because I can make this a square, right? M plus 1 and m minus 1. So that's at the bottom. And now, can we cross cancel? This is a quantity. I'm going to put it in parentheses so I know I can cross cancel this one and that one. Okay, I have an m plus 2 and an m plus 1. Those don't cancel. So what do I have left at the top? I have my 4, parentheses m plus 2, all over m plus 1. And if you want, you can put that in parentheses too. And that's my final answer for number 10. Okay, so that is multiplying rational expressions. Do your homework on this, and then tomorrow we'll go through and we'll do division. It's pretty much like what we're doing, it's just we'll do division. All right, hopefully you got it.